Hey, this is Christian Buckley. This is another episode of MVP Buzz Chat, and I'm here with Nicki Borell. And good morning. Good afternoon.
Good morning. Good afternoon on my side. Good morning on your side. Yes.
Well, maybe Nicki, why don't you introduce yourself for those that don't know you?
Yes. So my name is Nicki Borell. I'm regional director and MVP from Germany. I'm just coming from the SharePoint ecosystem. I was just my first MVP award was about SharePoint. And yeah, I'm now in my 6th year being an MVP.
Congratulations. Yeah, this was my, I'm actually, what month did you originally earn your MVP?
In July.
In July. Yeah, so mine's January. I did tell people like that. I'm 7.5 years there. For those that aren't familiar, like the MVPs, they would give them out quarterly. Well, it's recently changed where they give them out monthly. However, we're all renewed at the same time. So even though that's why I say 7.5 years, because it being July 2018, we just got our renewal. Technically, I would have gotten my renewal in January, which would have been my 7th, and I'd be halfway through my 8th. But so it's, I just, as of January, I'll start claiming 8 years, Well, I guess isn't it fair to say that you can measure based on the number of sliders on your award? I have 8. So
yes, well, I think it's just actually a rebuild of all these programs, and so we got new categories, and also these you can get an MVP every month, and yeah, let's see where all this ends up.
Yeah, exactly. And as you said, I also started as a SharePoint MVP, and then became an Office 365, and then we were Office servers and services, and now we are Office apps and services MVP.
Yes, hey. That's true. Yeah.
All right. And we also were given our regional director award, or that recognition at the same time as well. So we're both brand new RDs and trying to figure out our way.
Yeah, definitely.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about, like, what are you working on lately? Kind of what's your company and some of the projects, types of things that you do.
Yeah, so 7 years ago, Samuel Zürcher, also MVP from Switzerland, Christian Glessner, an MVP from Germany, and Hilton Giesenau, MVP from South Africa, but he's now switched over to Israel, had this crazy idea to find a known company or a known label, and we call it Xperts Insight. And meanwhile, all this involved, and there is a new label which is called Xperts at Work, where independent companies work close together in projects. So, the company of Tony Pohl and Martina Krom at Work, also part of this, they're a strong partner to me. And so as an ecosystem, we are bringing together power in projects to help customers with Office 365, with Azure, with modern technology. So this is, from my business perspective, what I do.
That's it's an idea. A lot of MVPs talk about that as you are in the program, and I mean, for those that aren't familiar with the MVP program, the Microsoft MVPs, it's a recognition from Microsoft of the past year's experiences, the things that you do on behalf of the community. So a lot of people that, like yourself and myself, that write a lot, blog a lot, speak at a lot of events, but I think even more so, it has it's generally filled with personalities that their mind is about sharing their knowledge and about helping clients, and whether or not they receive that MVP award, I mean, it's just part of the way that they tick. It's just part of that persona. But there's this discussion that is fairly common in the MVP circles of, we should form this super team of these people, because you suddenly had this benefit of being associated with people around the world that are experts in various aspects of the technology, and you find people that you like and you want to work with, and it's just great occasionally speaking together, sharing a slide deck and a demo at a conference. But for others, it's like, hey, there's a business here that we together can better serve customers. So it's I think I know everybody involved in.
Yes,
So.
So I think you don't know everybody who's involved, because of the interesting story on this is that we are not only focusing technology stuff. We are just working together with a strong partner doing only change management and new work style. We're just working together with a lawyer company, about all this GDPR stuff, which is not a technical topic at the end. So there's a wide network working together, and about these we work together with several people, and at the end it's one thing to say let's have a beer at the conference, or let's have a talk about technology or something like this, and it's a definitely other story to really do business. Every one of us got his own company, and so you have to figure out, do we really have the same mindset? So we have a stable situation to do business together or not. And so all the people who are in this network actually just joining the same mindset, and we're just focusing on the best for our customers and not what is my personal benefit in a focus position. Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, the healthiest partner relationships, and having helped establish, channel strategies for a couple different ISVs and done, with my own startups and consulting companies, worked with, especially now in the last decade, working with companies that are trying to understand how best to partner with Microsoft as well as other, ISVs and SIs in the space is when you start off that relationship by understanding what the others need out of that, want and need out of that, and the more that you do to ensure that that partner gets their piece out of it, the more likely you will then receive the benefit that you want out of it. So it's you almost don't need to be selfishly in there. This is what I need, give me leads, give me projects. When it's equitable, when it's balanced, it just happens naturally by, being a good partner.
That's it. Yeah. That's the magic behind. Yeah.
Yeah. It's and for that to work, again, finding the right partners, having the right discussions, being able to be very open upfront about, hey, this part's not working, we need to change something here. You can't have those kinds of discussions. As I said, I know most of the people involved on the tech side of the house.
Yes.
I've known, I know that we've known each other since 2010, 2011, something like that. And I think Christian, about the same time frame, I got to know him and partnered with him back in the Acceler days, I think, and right at the beginning of that. But that's one benefit of being able to go and meet people and work across, countries and regions, is that you get to know the people and build trust in that, and say, hey, I know who this person is, and I know I can have very frank conversations.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Yeah.
So why don't we jump into, we were starting to talk about what you're passionate about, a little bit about what you're focusing on, but kind of what's your passion? What do you present on? Because you are out there at conferences a lot as well too.
Yes. So I'm also 2 times in the States this year for conference. So the next is SharePoint Saturday LA in August.
Okay.
And then I just have a slot at Ignite conference end of September. And so my passion or my focus actually is all about Microsoft 365. So Office 365 plus all these security and management features like Azure AD Premium, like Intunes, and so on and so on. So
and that Windows piece.
Yeah, no, so this little Windows piece. Yes, that's true. To be true, I'm not a Windows guy. So Windows client OS is nothing I'm really focusing to. I use it, yes, definitely. Right. But, so my special focus actually is on Azure Information Protection. I do a blog post series about this, going really in deep, and I'm in a close beta program with a product group, just responsible for AAP, and we work together on incredibly new features about automatically detect sensitive information types. And yeah, it's all under NDA actually, but some really great stuff is coming up in the future. So tell
us about all the great stuff that's under NDA. I've got my note
back. I see, but so sorry about this.
No worries. I mean, so what? Your last couple blog posts. I mean, are people starting to ask a lot of questions around those topics?
So I think AAP is just a little bit unknown, still a little bit unknown in the world outside the tech geeks, but it's a really incredible feature, and it's also a good thing when you just figure out what I need to do to focus GDPR compliance, so AP can do a really good job for you in this context. So for me, it's one of the upcoming stars in the next years. Yeah.
You know, there's I know that so you know Microsoft offers a number of different features around and GDPR, and of course you living in a region that's directly impacted by that.
Yes.
I mean, so you said, I mean, people are still trying to kind of figure those different pieces out. I thought one of the you know, cool offerings that Microsoft had was that dashboard, that where it's not so much about automation of, you know, how are we going to remain compliant with the GDPR, but it's more of a you know, a manual input to track against, here's the things that we know that we've identified, what's our progress against that. So a large company could go in there and say, look, here's the 100 things that we know we need to do to be compliant. Where are we against these? Who owns them? What still is left to be done?
Definitely. So at the end, I saw similar things based on Excel sheets done by PwC or Ernst & Young, which is focusing to the same story. But yes, if you don't know where to start, definitely this is a good help, and it helps you to track the doings you have to do. And this situation, this GDPR dashboard from Microsoft or all the other stuff Microsoft offers partners and customers in the context of GDPR, there's one interesting topic. So I just wrote a white paper about how to get compliant with Office 365 and Azure together with a lawyer. So he did all the law stuff because this is not my topic, and I just bring in all the technical stuff and just focusing on which Microsoft product you can use to fit paragraphs or articles. And together we create this white paper. And the interesting story when I start working on this is, so the GDPR is about 100, around about 100 separate paragraphs, which is split in 11 articles. And only 5 of these 11 articles have an IT impact. All the rest is just process, setup, and so on and so on. So don't say, if I do everything Microsoft just offers me to do, or say you have to do this, then I'm compliant. That's not true. It's a part of the story. It's a really necessary part of the story, but it's not the whole story. GDPR is just a law thing, not a technical thing.
Well, I think there's another piece of that too, just on the technology side of Microsoft's. I think there was, and hopefully people still don't think this, but I know that you know, a few months back, as we're leading up to the regulation going into effect, is that there were some people that were asked, like, hey, are you GDPR compliant? They said, hey, we're on Office 365, so we're compliant. Like, wait a second. You know, Microsoft offering those services, you know, they were going to be compliant with the services they offered, but just by the nature of the technology, using it and interacting with clients, you may, you know, very quickly be you know, non-compliant with that, you know, depending on the process and all the, again, the non-technical aspects of that. The platform and what Microsoft offers, Microsoft is compliant. That doesn't mean that you're automatically compliant.
Yes, we can say this from a special perspective. That's true. At the end, when I talk to my lawyer colleague, as you know, they say, "Oh, this is brand new. We don't have any references." Yes, from all what we know today, Microsoft seems to be compliant. So it's a little bit like this, yeah. But on the other side, my lawyer colleague says, when I go to a customer and this customer say, hey, I want to use Office 365, then for me, a lot of questions and to-dos are already marked as done, because of Microsoft did a really great job in what they do with their data centers and all the certifications and all this. So with Microsoft, you're definitely on a good way, yes.
Well, I mean, with like any new platform, any new system, any new process, there's that hardening process that happen where it's like building a new house. You have to let the foundation settle. There will be some cracks that you need to go back in and repair, or say, hey, we don't need to fix that. Like but you'll kind of adjust to that. And you're right. I mean, there's not a lot of precedent for how enforcement will happen over some issues that are found, as it just kind of, I don't know, normalizes as it's out there in live. It'd be interesting. I mean, just I'm sure we'll see a lot of this kind of content, but a year from now, 2 years from now, to go back and look at how much was hype. Was it just the unknown? You're looking into the void and not knowing, versus what actually happened. I mean, is there anything that, as you see it now, the law taking effect and organizations that are starting to get requests for information from end users, than that, any impacts that surprise you?
No impact that surprises me, and definitely no impact to any of my customers until now, to be true. So I think from an official perspective, they also have to do their homework before they go to the companies and say, hey, good day, but we want to do audit now. Though I think the story is more about that maybe other guys in the same project say, hey, you're not compliant, I have to look to your website and your website is not compliant, something like this. I think this is more the story actually, but I don't have a customer, or I don't know about any customer, also not from my colleagues, who got some trouble because of GDPR actually. But yes, this law is in place and we have to fulfill it. So we have to respect it and have to deal with it. Yes.
Well, it's interesting. And so, and again, you're very close to what Microsoft is doing around this space. Are there any gaps? Are there any areas or opportunity? The Microsoft language, it's not, are there problems? It is, are there opportunities to improve the solutions that are provided?
So I think opportunities to improve or to get better are there anytime. But so definitely from what I know, and also the feedback I got from other colleagues, and I get especially from my lawyer colleagues, is that Microsoft did a brilliant job with the stuff they do actually. Of course, I think we have to see now if we have the first references and see maybe what happened in other countries, or even it's interesting to see what the US administration will do. These how's it called, Privacy Act and stuff like this. And
well,
what happens?
There's stuff happening worldwide to look at. South Africa has legislation in place. Australia, I'm not sure where it is now. It's getting very close. And I think America will be right behind it. We've had various standards in place, but I think because of this, GDPR is driving change around the world, because most of it just makes sense to people. Like, wait a second, and I think, of course, a lot of the high profile incidents that we've had with the various, the social channels and things that help, drive that as well. And look, I think I've got a visitor in the room here, buzzing around my head. But anyway, I think there's a lot of change that is that's happening, and it's a good thing. Again, it needs to normalize. It needs to kind of adjust to make sure that the regulation is not actually prohibiting business to happen.
That's a big story. About is this regulation just also bringing bad stuff? Yes, maybe yes. But on the other side, I think from a general perspective, this GDPR story and all this around is just bringing the focus to data security and data privacy, which is a necessary topic. And I think that a lot of companies didn't do enough about this in the past 10 years or something like this. And so I say, if someone is just doing stuff with my data, and maybe it's just getting money for doing stuff with my data, I will know about this, and I will have to have the chance to say, no, I don't want. Maybe, okay, then I cannot use the service anymore. Yes, it's on me, but I want to have this decision. And I think this is fair, and this is for what GDPR is good for. Yes.
I know this is a completely different topic, but one of the things that is most interesting to me about the infrastructure side of the blockchain space is around the identity management, the ownership, the concept of having it, being in control of your profile, your information, whether you're signing up for Facebook and LinkedIn or working or going to the doctor and sharing your medical information or your financial information with a credit card company, all these different things that you would be in control of, how any of those entities access what they access. And as you said, the service provider can always say that you're not providing enough information for us to allow you onto our platform. And there's a decision to be made, but at least then you have knowledge and understanding of what is being used, how it's being used, and can make a decision around that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's an exciting space to be in. I know there's a lot of things going on. And in fact, as soon as we're wrapped up here, I've got an idea I was going to ping you. So I was actually taking real notes, not fake like interviewer.
Okay.
You don't say.
I see.
Well, Nicki, it's great talking to you. I'm not sure when I'm going to see you next, unless you're going to be in Copenhagen in November.
Yes.
That'll probably be the next time I see you, because I'm not going to make it down to LA for that event, and I'm not going to make it to Orlando. But I'll be online, so you'll see me all over the place.
Yes, I'm true.
So, Nicki, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you if they want to reach out and connect with you?
So you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm using LinkedIn much more than I expect as I start using it. It's also evolving to a great platform. So I think these are the best channels if you just want to contact me private. Then Facebook. Yeah, that's the best channels.
And of course, we'll provide links to some of the content that you told me that you mentioned in the blog post. And Nicki, have a great rest of your evening there in Germany, and we'll talk to you soon.
Christian, thanks for the interview, and see you latest in Copenhagen. Goodbye.